Welcome Matt Maher to the show. We're so grateful to have him on the air with us here during our Share-a-thon. Matt, great to hear from you.
Thanks so much for having me.
You are a prolific songwriter, 454 song credits, but you also perform all over the world. Which one's your preference? Do you prefer the writing or the performing?
I think they both have their merits and they both have their challenges. I would say that in an ideal setting, writing a song and then getting to perform it live with a group of friends in front of people who are engaged in listening is kind of a triple threat. But if I had to pick just one or the other, I would probably pick, honestly, making music with people. Because I think making music with friends is how music is best celebrated, is in a community.
Very cool. Are you back on the road now, traveling and performing?
It's been real kind of slow. A lot of it was I had stuff previously committed that all got pushed to this year. And so I just chose to do the things that I was committed to. A lot of them were more private events. I didn't kind of want to go out and be part of a weird social experiment because you just kind of have a sense of like this thing it's going to take a while for the kinks to get worked out and for things to kind of open up and come back to some sort of common sense. And
right.
So I've been traveling, but it's been a lot of more smaller events or private events.
Okay.
And so it's been good, and it's reminded me of just how great it is to get to, play music with other people and connect with people that way. And it's also good that I'm kind of easing back into it because, I spent more time with my kids in 2020 than I had in the previous 10 years combined.
Wow. And how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Okay.
Yeah, 10, 8, and 5. And so I've been very fortunate that as my tour schedule was crazy, they were really young. But as they're getting older, their concept of time is just significantly shifted. And so now everyone understands the difference between 24 hours and 5 days. And they can feel it. And I can see it on their face when I tell them. So at the same time, it has afforded me the ability to kind of take them on the road. And that's been pretty great.
Oh,
so,
nice.
My daughter had her 8th birthday in October, and she came out and rode on our tour bus. And it was, I was playing in Minneapolis, and she was having the time of her life. So I'm trying to, you're always, I think, as a parent, you're always kind of, as a family, you're always praying and discerning and trying to figure out, okay, what's the best fit for us as a family and how do we make all this work? And you just take it day by day.
What were some of your favorite family things that you did together during quarantine?
We homeschooled, so we just would typically, I would be there in the mornings, and then in the afternoons when I would kind of work on music. And so I think some of it was that every morning, the consistency of starting the day. We went for walks almost every day together.
Nice.
And that was just really fun. We made there's a couple of little streams down the road from our house that are at the end of down the bottom of some neighbors' property. So we raced boats. We made little paper boats and
cool.
Coated them with wax. And yeah, and that was a ton of fun. Tried kite flying in the field across the street behind my neighbor's house, and that was a disaster, but we had a lot of fun.
I was just going to say, I have 3 kids as well, and my husband and I, we tried kite flying during that time, and we were horrible at it. And
yeah.
I don't think enough is said about how hard it is to fly a kite.
Yeah, the idea is that someone would say, go fly a kite. This is not the same thing as, go for a walk.
Right.
You're actually suggesting, hey, go develop cold fusion, or whatever. It's just a highly complex activity.
It really is. And especially there was a lot more running involved with it than I realized there was going to be of trying to.
Yeah, you think you're just standing there holding a string and the wind is doing all the work.
No, that's not the case.
It's not. You're I'm sprinting. And then it was almost like a form of circuit training.
That's exactly what it is. So I'm glad that we're letting this out, that everybody now knows how involved kite flying actually is. Hey everyone, if you're just tuning in, we're here on the Share-a-thon. We're talking to singer-songwriter Matt Maher. And Matt, you just had a birthday, so happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much.
Did you get to do anything fun?
Well, yeah, I mean, I woke up in the morning and my wife had gotten some gifts, and I kind of joked earlier about how it's just funny when you get older, the diversity of gifts. Like, so my kids, I'm an avid gamer. So my kids talked my wife into getting me this little thing that's like a controller that you plug your iPhone in and you can like play video games.
Nice.
So you can, yeah. But then I also got a water pick because I had a dentist appointment earlier the week, I think. And I was like, man, I really could use a water pick, which I'm like, because I'm apparently now at the point in my life where I need a water pick.
Yeah, 47. I think if you look up traditional gifts, it's both a gaming item and a water pick is the typical.
And then there was like a bag of like travel Epsom salts, like little bath bombs, because now you just wake up and some days you hurt and you don't know why. You're like, I hurt myself sleeping. I didn't know I could do that.
For our Share-a-thon, we are celebrating our 43rd year on the air. What's your experience with Christian radio? How has it made an impact in your life?
I think for me early on in my conversion, like in my early 20s, I grew up going to church and then stopped in middle school and high school. And then when I was 21, my parents got divorced and I'd moved to Arizona, and there was a Christian radio station I would listen to in my car. And there were so many moments when a song would kind of hit me at a moment when I needed to hear from God. Mm-hmm. And the song became a vehicle, in a way. It created an environment where I was more receptive. And, I always look at Christian radio as like being an extension of the church, where the ministry of the church is really to reach out to everyone. Mm-hmm. That also becomes impractical. It's hard to jump into someone's car while they're driving down a freeway, try to meet them with an encouraging scripture. But, that's what I think the power of what Christian radio does is it kind of meets people throughout the course of their day and accompanies them, mm-hmm. walks with them.
Well, Matt, we're so grateful for you sharing with us and taking the time to talk with us, being a part of Share-a-thon. We had you here in 2016 and 2018. If your travels allow it, we'd love to have you back here on the Oregon coast sometime.
Oh, I would absolutely love it. And it's one of my favorite places to visit. My wife and I actually always talk about how we dream of one day getting to retire in the Oregon coast. So,
well, we would love to have you.
All right. I'll be sure and let my realtor know that I've been invited.
Yes, Matt, please let your realtor know you've been officially invited to move here. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Share-a-thon today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Matt talked about how Christian radio would provide what he needed when he needed to hear from God. And here at K-Light, we're so grateful to share those moments with listeners every day. You can help us continue to do that by calling 269-2022.